Hey y'all, welcome back to Thriving Loudly. I'm Aisha.
And I'm Trinise. And today's episode is one that's all about alignment, rest, and what it means to build a soul-centered business that doesn't burn you out.
We're sitting down with our special guest and actually one of our very first guests ever on Thriving Loudly. We're here with Angelee Andorfer-Lopez, a meditation guide, intuitive wellness coach, and the founder of a powerful online wellness community.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, so we're going to be diving into how spiritual practices can evolve into a purpose-driven business and how to reclaim your emotional balance and how being a BIPOC woman in wellness truly shapes your work or the work.
Okay, so Angelee, we're so happy to have you here on Thriving Loudly. Thank you for being here with us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here. I love the work that you're both doing, and these conversations are so important.
Yes, they are. So let's start with your journey. Can you tell me a little bit about your story, your background, what experiences shaped your path?
Yeah, definitely. So I am a meditation teacher. I'm a wellness speaker, and I have a company called Manifest House, which is a well-being space. And I actually grew up in Arizona, and after going to school here, I went the pretty traditional route after school and ended up moving up to the Pacific Northwest. Mostly just because I was really feeling this oncoming, time of healing and growth, and I'd spent my whole life in the desert and really just wanted to be somewhere different. And as I was there, my first career out of college, it was great on paper. I was doing everything that I thought I wanted.
Yeah.
I was, getting promoted. I was making my way up the ladder. And at the same time, I started to really realize that I was very out of alignment with just who I was. And it started with this little whisper of my intuition, and then got louder and louder and louder until I couldn't ignore it anymore. And I began to experience a lot of mental health challenges. So while, in that space of my life, I was having a lot of burnout, anxiety, depression, panic attacks as I was walking into the office at work. And that is what sparked this period of my life, which was a very deep self-healing journey. And getting myself on the other side of that has been so transformative, and so much so that it informs the work that I do today with guiding other people who, also are feeling like maybe there's more for them in life, and that they can, they just need a little bit of help finding that. So all of the work that I do is really guided around the principle of helping people come back to their heart space. We spend so much time in our minds and let that guide us. And especially as women, we have a strong sense of intuition. So I love, helping women tune into that voice and helping everyone uncover where their heart is guiding us, because I really believe that is the bridge to our soul and what, our purpose and what brings us joy here in this life. And the more that we can listen to that, then I think ultimately the happier and more fulfilled life we'll have.
I love that.
Yeah, that's so good. What led you to dive into spiritual practices, and how did that evolve into your business?
Yeah, so it started during that same time period when I was in that dark night of the soul era.
We've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there. Yes, and it, so I first started, because I got to the point where I was honestly so unhappy that I knew I needed to ask for help. And at the time, I didn't know what that looked like. No one in my family ever went to therapy, talked about therapy. That wasn't something that was kind of part of the culture, especially growing up as a Latina. And I didn't know where to turn. And so I first began by going to therapy, and that was kind of the catalyst for me.
Okay.
At the time, my therapist was on the down low, sneaky spiritual. Like she didn't present that way to me at first. But then over time, as I, began to build trust with her, she would incorporate a few things here and there. And that really opened my world up. And then I began to just be so interested and go down the path of like seeking out all of these different holistic healing modalities, things like meditation, gratitude practices.
Yeah.
And as I went down that route, I started to feel better. Like I felt like more myself than I ever had before. And I was just more confident, more aligned, more present. I think that was a really big piece for me. And so then, also what was happening in the background is I was still working for someone else in the corporate world. And I was like getting this itch to work for myself and to go out on my own. And I always pictured that for myself. Like I think many of us entrepreneurs, like we have that in us. We have that drive. We want to build something. And like many other entrepreneurs, I wanted to build something that I felt was missing. Something that I needed, that I wish I had on my journey. And so that's what led me, that experience of being in that deep healing journey and honestly feeling like I was very alone in the process. Like not having friends who understood, not feeling like I had community, sometimes going into these, wellness spaces and like just seeing one type of person or one body shape and just, just felt very off. And so really was craving like community in that journey, like true, deep community. And so when I got the chance, it happened after layoffs in 2020. And it was a little bit of crazy timing, but I was like, I'm gonna do it. Like I felt it so deeply that it was the time. So that's what prompted me to start Manifest House and to start the membership community that we have, and create a space virtually where, women can gather and be in community as they are walking their own journey back home to themselves.
And did you feel like you wanted to start it during COVID because people needed like a safe space, or just because there was so much, uncertainty going on during that period of time? You felt like this is the time to do this, to be able to offer that support, like an alternative?
It had been brewing like already before that. But I didn't know exactly how it would look. It was just like I could feel there was something coming. I knew that it would be in wellness and healing. And during COVID, I felt a deep sense of urgency behind it. And it was like, this wind underneath my feet that was like, it's time. Like and many of us have felt that moment where you're like, it's time. I can't put this off any longer. I have to do this. And it was very much, that was the case for me. I felt guided to, yes, this is the time we need this. We need these safe spaces. And, I think ever since then, there's been so much uncertainty in the world that we just continue to need spaces like this where we can be in community and, have time to process everything that's happening.
Yeah, there's so much going on in the world. So yes, we do need it. In your experience, what are some common misconceptions about like spiritual or wellness practices in our communities, especially like among BIPOC women?
Yeah, well, I would love to hear your takes on this too, but I think something I see often is, if we come into it with any sort of religious background, there can often feel like there's a little bit of tension there, which I know, I was raised very religious, so I completely understand that journey. And what I would say to that is that, there can be space for both. Like you get to define what your spirituality means to you. And we welcome that at Manifest House. And I think, Trinice has seen that as well from being in our space. We're open to that. There's space for all of it. But I think that is something that, if we come in with that perception or those past beliefs, then there's some work we get to do around what do we want our spirituality to look like and how do we define it. I think another just like challenge that I see a lot of women, especially BIPOC women, coming in with is this idea that we have, there's multiple things. One is that how difficult it is to, number one, like invest in ourselves in this way. Because it's easy for us to invest in our businesses, in our schooling, you know, and getting that MBA, or even in our partnerships and our relationships.
Yeah.
But when it comes to us, like just taking care of us without there being like metrics attached to it, right? Without there being like, okay, if I do this, I'm going to get 3 new customers this quarter. Like, that's not how healing works. That's not how this medicine works, right?
Yeah.
I like to say it's slow medicine. So that's something that is just a beautiful opportunity to unpack, and to that we help, you know, kind of shift that perspective away from, I'm doing that, like, why are we doing this? Why do we slow down? Why do we set intentions for our life? Like, why do we take that time to do that?
Yeah.
Well, it's for ourselves first and foremost, but then the other added surprise and added bonus is that it does impact every other area of your life.
Yeah. It does.
It impacts your work.
Yep.
It impacts your relationships. Like, everything gets better when you take time to focus on your needs.
Yeah. I want to piggyback off of that. That's one thing that I learned. I was going to a spiritual coach, and I remember this was like, maybe like 5 years ago. And I wanted to focus. I wanted to manifest. I wanted to manifest money. I wanted to manifest all these things. And she said, but the first thing you need to do is focus on love. You need to focus on self-love. You need to focus on yourself. And she told me, she said, when you start pouring into yourself, that's when everything else is going to open up. And that's when I really learned the concept of that. Like, it starts with you.
Yeah.
Because once you're right with you, once you're doing these practices and things like that, then the money is going to come. Then the visions are going to come. Everything is going to all come together. And I think that that's a big misconception, is that we think, well, I want to manifest all this money. I want to do this. I want to do that. But it starts with within. We have to work on ourselves first. We have to love ourselves. We have to undo those patterns. We have to do the shadow work. We have to do all of this. And once we start uncovering all these layers to us and truly stepping into the alignment with who we are, then we start creating our purpose. And before you know it, we've created all these things, and now you have the money flowing in. Now you're feeling better. Now you have the confidence. And it's like, you didn't have to go out and seek it, because it came to you because it was naturally within you.
Yeah, because
that's why I resonate with that.
I like that too, because you can have the money, the fame, or the job and still be unhappy.
Exactly.
I even had a period of time where, brand deals were coming in, things were good, I was growing, but then I was still very empty inside, I feel like it's always like you said, it starts within first, first and foremost, because then when you do get those, things, the money, the relationship, the friendships, it just feels better. It feels good. And I think that's so important. Yeah. The internal work, because we see it all the time with celebrities.
Yeah.
And even influencers, having breakdowns on drugs, and you're like, wow, they have everything. They have a nice house, they have a nice car, they have fame, they have all these things. Why are they so unhappy? And it's never enough, right? They want more. They feel like if they get more, they get more brand deals, they get more money, they have these opportunities, they will feel better. Yeah. And it's never enough unless you work into the internal.
Yeah, because the goalpost always moves.
Right? Yeah.
It's like we reach one milestone and then it's on to the next one, right? So it's always we focus a lot on presence and also gratitude and noticing what you have now. And I really believe that leads to more abundance, that being in that energy of gratitude, it not only shows you all of the abundance that's already around you, but it does help you to attract more of what you want in your life. And and taking that time to get clear on, why do I want this thing?
Yeah.
Right. Because then I think that's where people get caught up, is that it's like, oh, well, I should have this, or I want it because my friends have it and I feel behind. I want it because my family thinks I should have it. So it's a lot of unpacking that and letting those layers shed and figuring out what is it that I want with this life, and how do I want to spend my time and energy.
I agree. Yeah, what's in alignment with me?
You support so many people through healing. How do you guide your members and clients through emotional overwhelm, burnout, and spiritual disconnection?
Oh, that's a big question.
Yeah. Because like we could break it down.
We see it all the time, right? Well, yeah.
Well, we can start with like maybe burnout, because I feel like that's always talked about in this day and age. You know, people trying to do all these things. You know, social media has like, you know, elevated this hustle culture. Like, you got to do more, you got to post more, you got to be an entrepreneur, you got to be waking up at 5 a.m. doing these insane morning routines and then grind all day. And it's like, it's so overwhelming that I even sometimes I'll see all this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough. You know, you see all these morning routines, you see all these things people are doing, and you just feel like you can't keep up. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I absolutely. Yeah, there's so much out there. Yeah.
So much.
And so you know, I'll speak to. We do it in a couple different ways. Like we do quite a bit in the workspace, and that is, you know, a little bit different than the work that we do in the. I call it community work. So we do that, you know, in the membership. So. In the membership, we kind of have this philosophy and this rhythm, so to speak, where, you know, it happens in three ways. First, it's guiding and offering support, because often it's like, to your point, it's overwhelming. I don't know where to start, or maybe I'm feeling like there's this checklist, there's this huge to-do list, right? And that's really, in my opinion, that's not what wellness, that's not what, you know, healing, that's not what spirituality should be. It's not a comparison. It's not, you know, about biohacking. Like, it can be part of it. But so we really start with like helping people get clear on really their life. Yeah. Like, what are their values? What do they want their life to look like? Like, what intentions do you want to set for yourself? And we like to do it in alignment with the seasons of nature, because it helps us get into a rhythm, right? Because it's hard to be like, here's my 5-10-year plan. Like, let's just focus on these next 3 months. In this next season of nature, right? And so, we start with clarity, and anybody can do this, right? You can just take a journal out and spend some time, you know, number one, like maybe reflecting back on the past couple months, the past year. I think that's an important practice too. That's really important. And then, you know, figuring out what is it that I want to focus on? What am I needing help with? What parts of myself are needing extra support right now? Because there's so many dimensions within wellness. It's not just one thing. So it could be, you know, right now I'm really feeling not good in my physical body. Like, it needs some, you know, it needs some love. It needs some tending to. So maybe I want to focus my energy there, or maybe I'm just feeling really spiritually disconnected. Maybe my relationships are a mess, and I know that I need, even though maybe there's some hard conversations in there or whatever, like that's what you know, life is asking me to focus on. So number one, clarity. Then number two is community. So offering, and really I'll break that out a bit. It's clarity, and then accountability and consistency. So with that, you know, one of the challenges that I personally struggled with when I was first starting my wellness and healing journey, that every time I would do something, right, like a meditation practice, or I'd go to a yoga class, or I would, whatever it was, I would feel better. And I'm like, this is amazing. Why don't I do this more? And I just wouldn't, right? Like, it's hard. It's hard our lives are full and busy, and it's really easy to put ourselves last. And so we purposely built out our classes at Manifest House, our online classes, to be live streamed. I love it. Very intentional, right? Because we know if it's on the calendar, the likelihood of us showing up, if it's live, like the chances of us making that time go up exponentially. So having it be live stream, we do 13 plus healing events every single month online. You can tune in from anywhere in the world. And then lastly, the big one is community. So, you know, and especially I think as women of color, as BIPOC women, like, so many of our ancestors did this work together in circle. Like it's it's not supposed to be an individual journey, but we have made it that way in this society, right? In our Western world, it's become about self-care only. And that's why we focus on self and collective care, because they're both important.
Yeah.
And so when we gather in community, like, and we do these things together, and then maybe just share a little bit about how it impacted us, how we're feeling. There's just this lightness that comes up, and you know, sometimes it's even as simple as sharing something, and somebody else says, "Me too. I've been through that too." Right? And it's like this feeling of I'm not alone. I'm not as alone as I thought I was. Because there's not really that many unique experiences. Like, we're all so connected, you know, but we don't see it. When we're in our problems, we're like, I'm the only one going through this.
Yeah.
Like, my life is the hardest, you know, and that's just part of being human. That's our human nature. So when we get in these circles in community, it's just, we feel less alone. We feel the support, and, you know, it's not about fixing each other, right? It's not about me coming in and saying, here's what you need to do. Because at the end of the day, I don't know what you need to do.
Right.
It's your life.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do. So my job is to help you hear what it is that you need to do.
And that's what I was going to say, that's what I really love about Manifest House. Every time I take the class or, you know, the workshop, I always feel like it's community. You're always asking questions, or, you know, the instructors are always asking questions. And it's like, oftentimes somebody else is going through what I'm going through, or they have the same aha moment. And I always just find myself like walking away and just feeling so much lighter and so much better than before I got on the call. So that's one thing I love. Yeah. About Manifest House. And then also your journal as well. Love that when you had talked about like, what is it? Is it the wellness wheel?
Yeah.
Where you can kind of like circle like what's going on with you right now, and then focus on those areas. That has changed my life. Like, seriously.
Yeah. I know, because otherwise it's like, I don't know where to start. You know, so it just gives a foundation. So that's an exercise that we do once a quarter at the house, and it gives us a foundation. It gives us a framework for like, how do we think about these different lenses of our lives, really, because it's just you're looking at your holistic life, and it brings intentionality to where you focus your energy.
I like that. I just want to touch quickly a little bit more on spiritual disconnection, because I feel like it seems like now more than ever a lot of people are lost. Do you feel like that has to do with lack of human connection and like social media and like people being on their phones? Like, it's a lot of escapism happening to where people don't know how to connect with themselves, but they're wanting to connect more like online, or they're just, you know, comparing themselves to other people, you know, on social media, and they think that they want that, but maybe they truly don't. Like, what's your take on that, or what you've experienced with like your members, clients?
Yeah, I do think that technology and social media, as you know, it's a double-edged sword. Like, there's so many beautiful parts of it, as you know very well, especially. Right. It can help us get our work out there and build true connections and community, and build our businesses. And I certainly leverage it for that. And on the other side of that, you know, you go anywhere and you look around and everybody's looking down at their phone. And you're sitting across from people and you're all on your phones. So, and I think, you know, what we're doing in that process is we're almost like forgetting how to create, because we're so busy consuming. And we're consuming, and we're comparing ourselves to what it is that we're seeing in other people's lives, which we all know that it's not the full picture. Like, you know, it's just the highlight reel. Like, you hear that. So I think, you know, logically we understand that, but we forget. And so we end up comparing our lives to everyone else's. So yeah, I do really think that technology plays a big piece. I also think, you know, in the work that I do a lot of earth-based practices and earth-based medicine, and learning from different indigenous teachers of different traditions, especially in Central America and South America. And I think it's also our disconnection from nature.
Yeah,
I think so too.
we're not outside enough. We're not just connecting and just slowing down, being at peace. We're just go, 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 go. Like, gotta go to the next thing. Gotta go do this, and we're not just like
Yeah.
send it out.
Yeah, I think it's that, and it comes back to community as well.
Yeah.
Because community is so important. We're not spending enough time with like-minded people.
Yeah.
People that are on the same page as you, that are on their spiritual journey, that you can talk to,
Yeah.
and really build those relationships with. I think that's what it comes down to too. All right, so let's talk entrepreneurship. What has worked and what hasn't when it comes to building your wellness online business?
Yeah, there's a lot there. Well, I would say one thing that I've really had to learn the hard way, I would say, and we were actually kind of chatting about this a little bit before, is this idea that I don't have to do it all on my own. And I think a lot of women especially, but especially if you're an eldest daughter or daughter of immigrants, like there's just a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves. And I know I've really felt that over the years. So, that's been a challenge for me because I have all of these big ideas and dreams and projects and things that I want to create constantly. But I can't do it all, and I can't do it all. I can do it all, but I can't do it all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I need help. I need support. So learning how to, get scrappy and build a team, has been a journey, and something that has been, I think required a lot of vulnerability and required creativity and patience and letting go. And
letting go of that control.
Letting go of that control. Yeah. And then I think one thing that has worked well, and this is something I'm still learning, but setting up a system and a foundation for myself. Because I am very much a person, I love spontaneity. And I love, not everybody's like this, but I'm like, I love when my calendar's empty. Are you the opposite?
I'm now the opposite, but it's because I spiraled, because I was not organized, and I feel like if it wasn't on my calendar, I would forget. I'd be like, oh crap! Like I have to go to this collab, and I would just forget things. And so I had to go that route. Maybe it's a little too crazy now, but I had to go that route for my own sanity. But I do like that because when I first quit my job and started, doing content creation full time, I was like, woo, freedom! Just going with the flow day to day, nothing. And then I was like, I quickly found out, I was like, okay, I'm going to need a little structure if I'm going to make this work.
Exactly. And it's like, for me, it's been the same thing where I've had to learn my way of working and what are my rhythms and what structures do I need to have in place, which, doesn't come as naturally to me. But what I've realized is that then when I have those foundational pieces of structure, it allows me to flow. It allows me to be more playful, to be more spontaneous, which is what lights me up. And is also in my human design as well. It's I need that spontaneity. I need that autonomy and freedom. So, that's worked well. It's figuring out, especially in running a membership, there's always something to do. And, I think that the challenge that a lot of people run into is the consistency that it requires in showing up week after week after week for your members. So, building out templates and building out automations and things, like pushing myself to learn some of those tools. Especially, now we have for building for online business. I mean, there's so many tools and automations and now AI that we can leverage. So taking the time for me to either set it up myself or bring somebody in, which I've done before, right? Who knows that stuff, and like that's their wheel of genius. So that's been a helpful tool, I would say, in growing and also, again, back to community, like leveraging collaborations, finding like-minded organizations, or even ones that complement whatever it is that you offer. So in figuring out what would make a collaboration a win-win for both of us, like where we could both receive and give, and so that has been helpful to me, especially in the early years of trying to get that exposure and visibility.
Yeah, I can definitely identify with a lot of those points. Just myself, Aisha and I always talk about this. I put myself on a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 schedule because I'm like, I have to. Because if I don't do that and I just work from whenever, or if I start at 11 o'clock and then I stop working at, let's say, 7 p.m., it just doesn't work for me. I found like when it's 9 to 5 and then I try not to work on the weekends, I have more balance because then I can enjoy my life on the weekends rather than it running into my weekends and now I'm feeling burnt out because now I'm back working on Monday. And it's like constant hamster wheel. So that's one of the things,
And I think that's it, right? It's figuring out what works for me. Like, what is my style? What is my energy flow like? Like, I like working on the weekends. I just love to teach on the weekends. Like, I love it. And I'd rather take, like, a Tuesday afternoon and go get, lunch with my husband and, like, have that flexibility. So, so everybody's different. Like, you have to, I think that's the thing about entrepreneurship is, like, figure out what works for you and your, if you have a team and your team as well, and that's the fun part.
That is the fun part, yes. And I think the community piece is so important too, and leveraging other people that may offer a different skill set or may offer something different than what you offer, and being able to package that together so that maybe you can be a full service brand. Like for me, I'm an executive assistant, but maybe I'm working with someone that does branding, and being able to collaborate with them so now I can offer full service. I think that's just so important when entrepreneurship is just finding those partners, to really build and grow. Because you can't do it all yourself, and you shouldn't do it all yourself. You should be in your zone of genius, focus on that, and pull in those people that can really help you to truly build this. That's so important.
Okay, so I can jump into the next question. How does your identity as a BIPOC woman show up in your work, your voice, and your brand?
Yeah, I love that question. So I would say being a Latina, I think it lended itself to creating a space that was very inclusive and affirming of women from all backgrounds. Which we don't always see. I think now we see more of in the wellness space, but I think even just a few years ago, like when we first got started, there weren't that many spaces that really brought in and were kind of especially creating programming in mind for women of color. So I think that having that experience and just that being part of my identity, and having culture being at the root of my life and upbringing, it ties into everything that I do. I also think that I've always been a person who, and maybe this is also the Libra in me, but there's also I'm always looking for what is not fair, or like where is there injustice, right? And like I just my
identify with that.
We see it, and you can't unsee it once you see it. And so, I'm always striving through the work that I do, to create space for, and it's constantly evolving, it's constantly expanding, right? How that's defined, but creating spaces where, number one, we can bring our full selves, where there's no having to perform
Yeah.
or like have the right answers, or fear of like, oh, I can't say this because they might not understand. There's just something about being free to be who you are.
A safe space.
A safe space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's been, I would say, the biggest factor, and you know, I've seen that reflected too back at the women that have, especially in the membership, right? That they're feeling that. They feel that layer of safety that we try and create and prioritize. And we can't be safe for everybody. That's almost impossible all the time, but we can do our best. We can create that brave space, you know. It's been, you know, just such a joy to create those safe spaces with BIPOC women in mind. And
I've been able to witness that myself, where every time, like I said, I join one of your classes, you know, I feel safe, you know, I feel like no one's judging me, you know, I can show up with my hair scarf if I want to, you know.
In bed.
Nobody, in bed, exactly. Nobody's judging me. I'm doing my meditation, you know. It's a good time. Yeah, like I feel good, so I definitely identify with that. I was gonna ask you, so what's one thing that you're just like happy about with your business? Like what's one big impact that you made, or that you're just so happy about that you've been able to do?
The retreats.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do an annual retreat. So it's open to any of our members to come, and it's kind of our way, since we're mainly a virtual community for the membership, it's our way to get together in person. So we are on our 3rd year, and I mean, it's my just greatest honor to like hold those spaces. So we're there for, you know, anywhere from 4 days to a week, and we're, you know, usually in a beautiful place somewhere in the world that is immersed in nature. And we have one coming up in Sedona, which feels fun because it's close to home. Yeah, and just like, if anyone, you know, listening ever has the chance to go to a retreat, it is just transformational. I mean, it goes beyond just a vacation, right? There's something about, at least the ones that I've, you know, hosted and been to also as an attendee, when everyone is there, most people are there for that purpose of, yes, resting, yes, coming back to themselves, you know, taking that time out of that busy schedule to you know, hear themselves. But it's also, you know, they're there for spiritual connection and community. And, you know, it's like you're healing through the like ceremonies and healing work we're doing, but you're also healing through the late night giggles in the hot tub and, you know, doing the puzzle together at night and whatever. Like, it's just such a beautiful space and so healing. So that's bringing me a lot of joy right now. I love the planning process. I love the you never know what you're going to get at the retreats, right? As a host, like I know who's coming, right? Yes, I know a bit about every person and their intentions, but when we get in that space together, we're co-creating it.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's going to happen. And there's always things too in retreat that like don't go according to plan. So yeah, it's been, you know, it's so fun, and I think it fulfills that part of me that likes that spontaneity and that unknown. And yeah, it's been so beautiful to just witness the deep transformation. I think that's my favorite part.
I love that. What mindfulness, spiritual, and grounded practices have personally changed your life and continue to anchor you?
Yeah, there are lots. I'll speak to 2 of them briefly. The first one is meditation. So that was kind of I would say the first practice that I really committed to practicing, right? I was like, I'm going to try this out. And it changed my life. I mean, it just helped me go from having a mind that was just felt like it was constantly streaming through anxious thoughts, you know, and I was always in the future, especially for me. I was always thinking about what's next. I was not at all present, not at all in my body. And meditation really helped me in that process of, you know, helping me become more present, helping me have more of a clear mind. But I would say most importantly, being able to like recognize when I'm having thoughts that are harming me or having thoughts that are, you know, not true about myself. Right. So meditation helps you be a witness to what's actually happening in your mind and like detaching from the story, because your mind's going to constantly play stories that aren't necessarily true. It's there to protect you and keep you safe and keep you where you are. And so the more that we can recognize those thoughts, we can realize, okay, I'm telling myself this story, but it's not necessarily true. So meditation has been so powerful for me, and so much so that I was like, I want to learn how to teach this and guide this, and I love it. You know, I love it. I love watching in just a few minutes how people, their energy can completely shift. Go ahead. Yeah, and it just takes a minute. You're like, I have something.
I know. Yeah. I'm like, before you go to the next point, because I was gonna say it has changed my life as well. Oh my God, it has slowed me down. It has calmed me down. Before I started meditating, it was just like you said, 1,000 thoughts and everything, anxiety. But when I meditate on a regular basis, I am like literally like Zen Trinice. Like, I don't need anything. You know, I don't need no type of, anything. And so that's one thing that I enjoy about meditating. And like you said, I always get all these downloads. Like anytime I go into meditation, I'll ask, like, you know, Spirit, you know, talk to me. What do I need to be aware of, or you know, what have you? And it's like I'll just start getting downloads. Answers will start coming, or if it's not coming right then and there, it'll come throughout the day. You know, but it's just always so healing for me. And when I start my day with it, I just always have a better day. And so, yes, that's one of the things I live by too. So I'm like, I gotta jump in and say something.
No, I love what you shared. I love what you shared about the downloads. I don't know if you've heard this saying, but
and I'm sorry if we're too woo-woo.
This is
a woo-woo episode. This is a woo-woo episode, and we haven't noticed.
I love it. Well, and one thing, as I proceed to share something woo-woo, but I was going to share, I don't know if you've heard the saying, as you know, we're talking about all that you're receiving during meditation, but there's a saying that goes, when you're praying, you're talking to God, and when you're meditating, you're listening.
Love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel I have the same thing where I'm, you know, constantly just receiving clarity, and then I you know, it also shows up in other areas of your life. So even when you're off the meditation cushion, right, it's like, it's a really powerful practice.
It is. It has really changed my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so now we're going to get into a little fun segment. And before we wrap up, we love giving our listeners a chance to pause and feel what this work is all about. Would you be open to guiding us through a little 2 to 3 minute meditation?
I would love to. Girl,
Do you have work? Something? A little something for the audience? Yeah.
Like, I'm already like, pretty much like, bend down. I think I'm going to go to sleep.
All right, Denise, fall asleep during. So I would love to. So wherever you are, if you're able to do so, you can maybe uncross the legs, planting the feet into the ground. And if you're able to close down the eyes, go ahead and do so. And if not, you can maybe lower your gaze, staring at a point in the floor in front of you. And we'll begin by just taking a deep, full breath in through the nose. Hold at the top. And then exhale slowly and gently out of the mouth. Let that go. And take another full, deep breath here. Hold. And then exhale out of the mouth. Letting go of the day, letting everything fall away. Whatever's happened before this moment. letting go of anything you need to do after, just arriving here in this moment in your body. And continue to breathe at your own pace. Nothing to change or fix. Maybe softening the space in between the eyes. Softening the forehead muscles and the cheeks. Unclenching the jaw. And maybe letting the shoulders fall down and back. And letting the body grow heavy, almost as if you are sinking into whatever is supporting you below the chair, the floor. Feeling that sense of downward, grounded energy supporting you here, reminding you are held. And right now there's nothing to do and nowhere to be, except right here. And from this space, maybe setting an intention for the rest of your evening or your day, whenever you're listening to this. An intention is like a seed, and where you plant your seeds is where you will see fruit in your life. So where do you want to direct your energy today? Who do you want to be? What do you want to embody? Maybe if you're heading into your evening, your intention is to rest, to unplug, to let go. So we'll close this practice with taking a deep, full breath in, the deepest breath you've taken all day. And an audible sigh out. Let that go. Good. And when you're ready, taking your time, you can begin to blink the eyes back open. Meeting me back here.
Wow. Wow, that was beautiful.
So
So beautiful.
good.
Thank you for letting me guide that.
Honestly, I feel so calm and at peace. I was a little anxious, but I feel so much more calmer.
Isn't it amazing? You were there for me, I don't know, 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
It really does. And it doesn't have to be this big thing or this, hour-long practice. Like, just connect to the
That's
breath.
all it takes.
All it takes.
Yeah. We have just 5 minutes a day. It can really just change your day. All right. So yeah, that was so beautiful. I hope everyone listening, was feeling a little bit more grounded, a little bit more open. I know myself, I was. How about you, Aisha?
I felt good. Yeah, I needed that.
Yeah.
I don't do it enough. I'm always like, in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's so good. Okay, so today's conversation reminded me that healing and business don't have to be separate.
Mm-hmm.
When you honor your body, your spirit, and your timing, success becomes sustainable.
I love that.
I love that.
Yes. What does that mean? Let's go around the room. What does that mean to everyone? Like just even that when you honor your body, your spirit, and your time, and success becomes sustainable.
Yeah, I think for me, it means, it's okay to slow down. Like, it's okay to rest. Because when you're at 100%, you can do more. But if you are in flight or fight mode, or, you're not taking time to pour into your own cup, it won't be sustainable. You can't be fully there for other people or be even able to perform at your highest if you're not pouring back into your own cup and you're just giving, and you're not giving back to yourself. I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the same thing for me, and that's what I've learned within the last year is just pouring into yourself, because you will burn out, and it's happened to me a lot of times because I'm putting everybody else first, or I'm putting, work first and not pouring into myself. So yeah, I would say the same thing for me. How about yourself?
So good. Oh, these answers are so good.
I'm like,
yes. All of what they said. I think the only thing I would add to that is just
the, the why that I feel like it's important to like build for, or to have that sustainability is like, I want to build something that lasts.
Yeah.
That's lasting, that feels, true to me. And I know that if I burn myself out, I'm not going to be able to do that. Like, I'm going to, I've been there. It's been there.
Too.
And
It then you can't do anything, right? It's like if you don't choose a rest day, your body will.
Yes.
So let's get ahead of it.
Yeah, true. So literally, like kind of like this week. Like, yeah. And so so piggybacking off of that, you don't have to burn out to be powerful. You can build slowly, spiritually, and intentionally, and still be able to thrive and still be able to have it all. And I think that's really the gist here. And, what we wanted to touch on today was, you can still have that thriving career. You can still have that thriving, relationship. But take care of yourself first. Put yourself first. And when you do that, your whole world will thrive. Everything in your world is going to thrive. And it's going to be how it's supposed to be when you sow seeds into yourself.
So, as always, we love to close out our episodes with an affirmation. In this week's episode, the affirmation is, I honor the rhythm of my body, the wisdom of my breath, and the calling of my spirit. I am allowed to rest, reset, and rise. I am whole, I am worthy, and I'm thriving loudly.
So let us know what part of this episode, spoke to you the most. Make sure that you tag us on Instagram, Thriving Loudly, and use the hashtag Thriving Loudly so that we can share, your posts, reshare it, comment, all the things, so we can celebrate you.
Yeah, and if Angelee's work resonated with you, be sure to check out the resources and links in the show notes, including her affiliate code and wellness offerings, which we'll also have here somewhere on the screen as well for you guys.
And tell them where can they find you on all platforms, your website, social media.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we are on Instagram at Manifest House. I'm on Instagram at Angelee. And you can find us, our schedule of events is on our website at manifesthouse.com. So we have all of our live stream events there. And then if you are in Arizona, we do weekly in-person events over in the Biltmore area at the Kiln co-working space. So if you're interested in catching a class with us in person, you can check us out every Wednesday. We also have those classes up on our schedule too.
I love that. I'm going to have to check out a class sometime soon.
Please.
Yeah, we're going to have to go. Right, and to close it out.
All right, until next time, keep thriving loudly.
Bye, guys!